Wiseguy ended up being a really fortuitous job. I mean, my friend Ray Sharkey was on that show, and he was definitely served as an in for me in me getting that job. But the greatest thing about it was I go and I do this little role playing a wise guy in Wiseguy. And I was doing this scene where I get angry and I shoot up a pinball machine because I'm mad at it. It's very Pesci-esque kind of a scene, kind of comedic. And this gentleman walks up to me and says, "Can I have a conversation with you for a minute?" I say, "Sure." We walk outside. It ends up being Steve Kronish, who was the creator or co-creator, producer, writer of The Commish. And he said, "I have this this script, and you're too young for it, but you're the guy." And it was The Commish. And so started a 2.5-year process of me ending up getting that job. And the reason it took that long is because at the time there was a gentleman at CBS, it was at CBS, who was the president of CBS at the time, named Jeff Sagansky, and he was just not having it that someone my age could play this guy. So even though we jumped through hoops, and listen, I did a screen test even so that he could see that it worked on film, and in spite of all that, he just passed and said no. They spent a year trying to cast it after that, to no avail, and then finally it went into turnaround and ended up at ABC. And then Steven called me and said, "You still want to do The Commish?" And I was like, "Why are you being a jerk?" I thought he was rubbing it in, and that's what led to The Commish, and I ended up doing that show for 5 years. It's two Stevens, so I should say which one I mean. But Stephen Kronish was the guy who sort of discovered me for the role on the set of Wiseguy, but then he brought me to Cannell, and I read it for him, and he was on board right away. And the two of them really were the reason that worked and happened, because they really championed me through the whole thing, and they were both really, really wonderful to me. And God rest his soul, Steve Cannell was wonderful to me, and a really great guy, and taught me a lot. He was sort of the last of his kind of the one-man shops, and very loyal. When he believed in you, that was it.
It was kind of a breakthrough episodic show because it was structured in arcs. I know that Ray Sharkey started the very beginning.
That's right.
On an arc. Were you through an arc? Did your character?
5-show arc, yeah. Well, I was cast for a 5-show arc.
Did you enjoy that kind of a way
I
of
did, because
storytelling?
it gave you sort of a moment to be in something. You had a beginning and a middle and an end. You had an arc to a performance. And it was also my first time being up in Vancouver, which led to a whole different thing that I learned about in terms of the economics of show business. That's a whole other conversation. But yeah, I really liked that model, and I think that was the first show that ever did that, wasn't it?